Terrence Crutcher and Sylville Smith all were black men fatally shot by police officers. And over the past few months, all the officers who did that were acquitted. Let's turn now to my special panel of guests, Kim Trent, Keith Owens, Greg Bowens, and Kerry Jackson. We ended the last segment talking about how the Trump administration plans to deal with policing and law and order as it pertains to the black community. I, for one, am really worried about how those policies interconnect with exactly what we're talking about, the fatal shootings of black men in cities that we have seen more of recently. And I say seen more of, I don't think it's more frequent, we just are more aware of it. These are all sort of part and parcel, I think, of the policies we were talking about, and the policies that you say, though, we need to be safe in black communities.
Here in Detroit, in Wayne County, when police have stepped out of line, Kim Worthy has not hesitated to charge them.
That's true.
We need, I mean, that is when you get on the ground, you need a prosecutor that's got the heart and the soul and the evidence to decide to charge someone when they step out of line. In Chicago yesterday, the grand jury decided that not only the fact that a police officer is charged, but those police officers who decided to cover it up, to try and erase the tapes and lie on their police reports about it, that they're also going to be charged. There needs to be local prosecutions. There needs to be prosecutors that have got the heart and the evidence to say, I am going to go after you. And you've got to do it over and over again. The truth is, such as with the young man out in Baltimore, Freddie Gray. Yeah. There were black police officers and white police officers that were in that van. Yeah, sure. They were all charged, and none of them would tell on the other one. It's pretty hard to go out into the community and ask the community, we need you to actually turn around and stop being violent with each other and stop fighting, and to actively trust the police when the police won't actually go out of their way to actually help you, anything like that. We've all got to move.
I mean, nobody, I don't think, at this table is opposed to police doing their job and people being punished when they've done thinking that something is wrong. Somebody's murdered somebody, they need to be punished. When you talk about the overzealous, and it's, number one, Philando Castile legally had the weapon. Okay, he did everything he's supposed to do. Where's the NRA?
Right.
Okay, I mean, this is a man who was doing exactly what they said to do. He owned a legal weapon. He told them he had a legal weapon. They shot him like a dog. Okay, and the NRA had nothing to say about this. When you're talking about the way they police, the whole tough on crime thing, what they mean being tough on black folks. Okay, I mean, call it what it is.
I mean, historically,
when they say that's what they mean.
So one of the questions I have come to recently is, what is the pushback to this look like? We get angry about this. There's a movement that's coalesced around it, Black Lives Matter, but we haven't seen anything that really sort of says we are going to resist this. And Kim, I saw you on Facebook a few weeks ago raise that question. What does that look like? Think about slavery. Harriet Tubman stole slaves to undermine the system of bondage and said, I'm not waiting for emancipation. I'm going to stop this now. What would that look like?
If we're going to have a real change on this, white people have to have conversations with white people. That's just the bottom line. I mean, which is not to say, well, there are some brave white people in the world. We have Tim Wise. We have others there are people who want it. I think if they felt as though there's a safe space for them to be honest about these things. I mean, but we have now, I think, created this dialogue where it's if you are for police or if you are against police. And that's not what it is.
Exactly.
That's not what this conversation is about. It is about, if you are a police officer, you can't be inherently afraid of black people.
Right.
And if you are inherently afraid of black people, don't be a police officer.
Right. We can't give you a gun and have you police.
The officer in the Philando Castile, I mean, he simply was afraid of this man because he had black skin. And so there's nothing he could have done probably that would have prevented his death. I mean, it really,
and
he really was just.
I think there are two things that are starting to come to the surface in terms of the dialogue that we're having. The police are trained according to what we lay out, what we expect for them to do, and so far, we have asked them to do everything from, give people CPR to go kill the terrorists, right? In order to do this crime-fighting thing, we've asked them to get so many hours of training in shooting their weapon to qualify and keep their license. We need to start having more discussions about adding de-escalation techniques as part of still being able to qualify for your license.
There was no escalation. This was a person who...
I'm going to say that the truth of the matter is that for the last 25 to 30 years, we have trained police officers wrong. We have told the police officers...
We're saying the same thing.
We have told the police over and over again that folks no longer have constitutional rights. That simply because somebody fails to obey whatever you tell them to do, you've got a right to pull a gun out and shoot them. That's why they're not getting charged as often as they are. That's why there are no convictions, is because the cop did what he was trained to do. That for 30 years, we've trained them wrong.
But the pushback,
what you've got to do is to make sure that they understand everybody has constitutional rights, whether they're white or whether they're black, and you've got to. You don't have the right to shoot somebody because you are unsafe. Bus drivers don't have that right. My mother, that worked at the unemployment office, had to deal with irate people every day. She didn't have the right to shoot people just because they were irate. Public employees don't get that right simply because, and you've got to make sure that police officers know, we hired you to be police, not to be special.
And by the way, there are examples of very escalated situations where somehow white suspects make it out alive.
Somehow don't get it.
In very escalated situations. Like, look what happened in Aurora, Colorado, where this man went to a... How did he get to
Or even in Texas, where all of the motorcycle folks were out shooting each other.
Or that rancher. Who's that rancher with the son that was out there for all this time?
Exactly.
But here's the thing. We can't worry about the fact that white Americans are not getting shot. We've got to talk to our community members.
And I don't think the answer is shoot them too. The answer is don't shoot us.
I think the first answer is that we need to talk to our community members and get the guns out of their hands so that the police are not scared to come in.
It don't matter. You can have a gun or not a gun. But here's the point.
Every day.
Without
scaring every police, whether they're white or black.
That's that 90s. Okay, I hear you. But here, I want to say this, and that is that somehow we have got to get the conversation. The pushback has got to be: we need to value life, all life. We need to make sure the cops come home. We need to make sure the suspect comes home. Comes to justice. It should not be bring them in dead or alive, because it's too much bring them in dead as opposed to alive. And just like you're talking about resisting an arrest, or not showing your ID, or not pulling it out fast enough, should not be an executable offense on the street.
Agreed.
So a lot of times I think that we are pressed by time, too.
What he's talking about is also a culture change inside the black community that says, hey, we're not going to have the level of violence that we have now.
But you don't think black folks are getting shot in suburban communities? Most of these things have taken place outside of major cities.
It happens outside of major cities. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and I got pulled over. I'm about the black kid in the whole city. So I think, it's not that. But I think that also in terms of violence, we need to realize when you talk about the police department, the police department needs to be the police department for the whole city. And also we know back in '67, the police that were in the hood, in the black neighborhoods, was a different police force than the ones that were outside.
Really
the ones that were outside were to serve and protect. The ones that were in the hood were there to serve and protect from them. Their purpose was to protect white people from us.
Black kids in Farmington, it's not even black kids, because 50-year-olds are getting shot by cops. And I used to think if you made it to 25, you were cool, right?
Good,
but
right?
not anymore.
Right.
So Farmington, Grosse Pointe, St. Clair Shores, you pick your area. Where you live does not protect you from the prejudice of, a scaredy cat cop.
Everybody at this table knows, and we also know that you're not going to be protected from racism. We're going to have to deal with the fact it's going to be there. We can complain about it. We can pound on the table. It's going to be there.
People are going to be racist, but what we have to do is say it's not okay for you to use our institutions like the police force and the court system to enforce and execute your racism. So if you're going to be a racist, don't be a cop. That's all I'm saying.
That's something you said earlier.
Don't be a security guard with a gun either.
Conversations in the white community, I think that's very valid. And the reason why I say that, actually going back to one person about Malcolm X, but the reason why there were white kids who came to him about what they wanted to do when they wanted to go into the black community, and Malcolm said, go back to your own community. So it's like, we got this. We got us. We're not talking
about problem is not as much
talk to your mom and your dad and your brothers and sisters. That's what we need.
As always, guys, we could have a full hour.
No, I think we should stretch it out.
Give us more time. Give us more time. All right.
It's my show, not my station.
It's the people's station.
All right. Thank you very much for being here. We'll have you guys back soon. Lively discussion. All right, that's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org, and you can always follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. We will see you next time.
American Black Journal is funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.